Geopolitics with Shikuru, we're the future.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We have something special to announce to you. The USA president has allowed the CIA to conduct operations in Venezuela. Here, the video uh, from NBC. Here, the video from NBC first.
Tonight, after a series of U.S. military strikes on alleged drug boats headed for the U.S., President Trump saying he may now go after cartels on land, too.
Are you considering strikes on land?
Well, I don't want to tell you exactly, but we are certainly looking at land now because we've got the sea very well under control. And the way you look at it is every boat that we knock out, we save 25,000 American lives.
And saying he's escalating his push against Venezuela's Nicolas Maduro.
And here, the video from CNN. Because I don't do things that I didn't verify. So here the video from CNN too.
News, President Trump hinting at a major expansion of American military action in Venezuela, saying one day after 6 people were killed in another strike of a ship near Venezuela's coast that he is now open to land strikes as well.
So much of the drugs, 25-30% would come in through the seas. We've almost totally stopped it by sea. Now we'll stop it by land.
Are you considering strikes on land?
Well, I don't want to tell you exactly, but we are certainly looking at land now because we've got the sea very well under control.
It's a very significant statement, and here's some context. Look at this map. Open source flight data reviewed by CNN tonight shows that 3 B-52 bombers took off before dawn from a U.S. Air Force base in Louisiana and flew off the coast of Venezuela today for more than 4 hours. As of now, the Trump administration has confirmed at least 5 strikes since the beginning of September against Venezuelan targets.
So now, as you have seen those 2 videos, I'm going to show you the video of CNN. They are discussing this about this issue, and there is a question that they asked Donald Trump if the CIA is allowed to take out Maduro. And Donald Trump responded by saying he is not going to reply or to respond to that question. It's a ridiculous question. So I like Donald Trump because he knows his job and he knows what he's doing. And
News, President Trump hinting at a major expansion of American military action in Venezuela, saying one day after 6 people were killed in another strike of a ship near Venezuela's coast that he is now open to land strikes as well.
So much of the drugs, 25-30% would come in through the seas. We've almost totally stopped it by sea. Now we'll stop it by land.
Are you considering strikes on land?
Well, I don't want to tell you exactly, but we are certainly looking at land now because we've got the sea very well under control.
It's a very significant statement, and here's some context. Look at this map. Open source flight data reviewed by CNN tonight shows that 3 B-52 bombers took off before dawn from a U.S. Air Force base in Louisiana and flew off the coast of Venezuela today for more than 4 hours. As of now, the Trump administration has confirmed at least 5 strikes since the beginning of September against Venezuelan targets. Pentagon correspondent Natasha Bertrand is out front. And Natasha, this comes as you are learning more about how people who would make these decisions about what is allowable, what is legal, those top legal voices are being sidelined about how the American military is being used. What more are you learning?
Yeah, Aaron, so we spoke to more than a dozen current and former defense officials, including half a dozen JAG officers who are the uniformed lawyers inside the Pentagon and throughout the military. And many of them told us that these strikes that the administration has been carrying out in the Caribbean, they do appear to be patently unlawful under international and domestic law. And that is part of the reason why we're told there have been a lot of concerns raised within DOD's Office of General Counsel by several of these international legal experts inside that office about these strikes, raising questions about their legality. And in fact, we're told that the top international law expert in the Pentagon's Office of General Counsel has actually been reassigned out of that office altogether and has been cut out of those very important discussions. Now, DOD at this point, we're told, is relying pretty much entirely for these strikes on opinion that was produced by the Justice Department, and that which gives the president really sweeping, broad authority to carry out these kinds of military attacks in the Caribbean, that frankly has made a lot of people inside the Pentagon, including many of those lawyers, deeply uncomfortable. Now, I should note the Pentagon, in a statement to us, they denied that there was any opposition to these strikes in the Caribbean, and the White House as well told me that these strikes are going to continue because the president has deemed narco-terrorist organizations as a direct threat to the United States, and that these strikes are not going to stop. Aaron.
Natasha, thank you very much. And joining me now, Ryan Goodman, our out-front legal analyst, who, of course, spent a lot of time at the Department of Defense, in the legal department, looking over what is legal and not legal on drone attacks and strikes. So you know exactly what we're talking about here. And this is crucial, especially in the context of the Pentagon trying to restrict reporting on what is actually happening as opposed to what they want people to know about what is happening. Is there a legal basis for strikes on these strikes, especially now that we see these B-2 bombers taking off and flying off the coast, and the president saying that land strikes are on the table?
I can't see any legal basis for it. I understand why lawyers inside the Pentagon can't either, as being reported. And there are a number of different issues. When we move from the high seas to land strikes, then that means striking inside the territory of another country.
Sovereign country.
That's right, which is very different. It would have to be in response to an armed attack against the United States. It would have to be necessary. It would have to be proportionate. It would have to be authorized by Congress. None of those things, none of those boxes are checked off. If anything, there is a War Powers Act which requires the termination of such military operations if the president hasn't received affirmative authority from Congress. That clock started on September 2nd with the first strike, and so it should expire in the first week of November. So under any circumstances, he doesn't have domestic authority, he doesn't have international authority, and if anything, the laws that I think that they're looking at are murder laws that apply if you strike and try to kill people who are smugglers, which are civilians.
Okay, so in the context of this, the president is also saying, not just land strikes, he's confirmed that he has authorized the CIA to conduct operations inside Venezuela. He's actually putting out there that he's done that. Let me just play what he wanted everyone to know about that and what he didn't. Here he is today.
I authorized for two reasons, really. Number one, they have emptied their prisons into the United States of America. They came in through the border. And the other thing are drugs. We have a lot of drugs coming in from Venezuela. And a lot of the Venezuelan drugs come in through the sea.
Does the CIA have authority to take out Maduro?
Oh, I don't want to answer a question like that. That's a ridiculous question for me to be given.
It's kind of fascinating, Ryan, because, of course, it's not a ridiculous question. When he's been striking without authority and saying he's going to strike on land, that obviously the most obvious question is whether, if you're putting the CIA in, it's about the current dictator in Venezuela.
Right. I think he should have answered the way a normal president would answer those questions, which is, I'm not going to say anything about anything. But he actually started to answer the first question, which is that, yes, he has authorized certain
I
CIA
authorized
actions.
for two reasons.
That's right, which is remarkable. The whole point of doing CIA work is that it's covert and not acknowledged as the United States whatsoever. So the fact that he's acknowledging part and then saying, I'm not answering the other one is odd. And it also comes in the context of not just the firing of the senior military lawyers in the Pentagon, but the oddity that just last week the New York Times reported that the deputy director of the CIA, Michael Ellis, has demoted the general counsel of the CIA and put himself in as general counsel. So the lawyering behind this is very worrisome, and it's coming at quite a troubling moment.